The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. These guys can't go about like 3 seconds without saying a swear, so, listener discretion is advised.
We should, be recording the show instead of...
We're recording.
I didn't start the
recording.
No, but the robot's here.
Yeah. But I didn't start the show yet.
Hey everybody, this is Ink and Paint Club
No, I
podcast.
gotta do the actual show intro.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. My name is JD, and joining me is Kyle.
Yo.
And also joining us is Matt.
No, you're joined by Brute Root.
Are you a Venusaur now?
Venusaur.
Is that your Pokesona?
No, mine would be a Meowth.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I don't know why I constantly forget Meowth is your favorite Pokemon.
I talked about that on the Detective Pikachu podcast, and Dustin asked about all of our, we would have our gyms. I said I would have a gym just full of Meowths, and I'd wear like a big Meowth, mascot costume. That'd be a crazy cat, man.
So you're the guy from Sun and Moon, then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Whatever that means. I haven't played a Pokemon since the first gen, so. Anyway.
There's a cop in Sun and Moon, and all he has is Meowths.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, I guess like that.
Kyle, we have to clarify. He has a Alolan Meowth.
It's the same difference.
I would have regular and Alolan and Galarian.
Yeah, you gotta have Galarian Meowth because he's a furry boy.
They made him look like me. They gave him a big old beard.
If you couldn't guess, we are talking about Pokemon today. Specifically, we are talking about the 3D remake of the first Pokemon movie that just dropped on Netflix here recently, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. And the evolution is that it's in 3D now. All modern movies.
So JD, I've heard you and Kyle have covered Mewtwo Strikes Back before.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, we talked about the actual Pokemon, the first movie, and I personally feel that we talked out of our ass a lot on that show because none of us on the show had watched it in God knows how long. So this is a chance to kind of redeem ourselves, because I'm going to be quite honest, this is a remake of the first Pokemon movie, and it is a remake in almost a very literal sense, because it is in some places shot for shot, but pretty much a 1-to-1 remake of the original Pokemon movie. There's some tweaks here and there. They're almost visual tweaks more than plot tweaks, but
there's a lot more teeth in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot more creepy little teeth.
Yeah. So I mean, if you've seen the first Pokemon movie, you kind of know the gist of this. It's the origin of Mewtwo, created by Team Rocket scientists, be cloned from Mew, and
was that explicitly said though that they were Team Rocket scientists?
I assume so.
Or did Team Rocket steal it from them?
I don't know. I always assumed it was Team Rocket scientists.
Because in the game, doesn't it Mew is involved with the birth of it and all that? That kind of was just
the game
taken
says
away.
Mew gave birth. In this movie, Mewtwo is born in a tank.
Well, in the original too. I don't know. I always got the kind of feeling that they were probably the link to Team Rocket, just because once the lab blows up, Giovanni knows to go there to fucking confront Mewtwo.
That's why I always. Yeah, that's why I always took it. It's Team Rocket scientists, because why would Giovanni go there afterward anyway?
They didn't seem like they were malicious, though, is what I'm saying.
No,
they were doing it for bad.
No, but the specific faction of Team Rocket that we're familiar with isn't malicious either. So I think they just got some people in their employ that aren't like, totally
They
evil.
they cut a shitload of Tauruses. That was pretty evil.
I mean, Ash did the same thing.
Yeah, but he didn't do it with psychic powers.
I guess it's true.
Could you imagine if he did have psychic powers? He might be able to become this Pokemon master he wanted to be so bad.
He came close to well, actually, he did become the League Master.
Yeah, but how long did that take? How many years? Like 20 years or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So that's one thing that just bothers the absolute fuck out of me. When it's more the anime than anything, but he has such a shitty team.
Like just in general or in this movie?
Yeah, just in general. Like in this movie, he has a shitty team too. I think he only has 4.
He has Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Charizard, right?
Yeah, he only has 4 Pokemon on him.
And they're weak as fuck. And one doesn't listen to him.
Excuse me, that Squirtle took out of a champ with
that
Bubble
bothers
Beam.
me too. I know it works on a different meta from the game, but come on now.
So there are a couple different like visual differences, and just a little tweaks here and there. I do want to commend this movie for correcting a mistake from the first movie. So when Ash is fighting that guy in the
dining room,
fighting that guy in the beginning of the movie, and they're playing the theme song, which I am glad that they remixed the remix version of the theme song from the first movie for this movie.
Yeah, but they committed another musical sin because they got rid of "Brother My Brother" near the middle of the movie. They
didn't play any of the other songs. But anyway, so in that fight, originally, when that guy throws out his 3 Pokemon in desperation at the end, he throws out Venomoth, Pinsir, and in the original movie, he throws out a Golem. In this movie, it switches it to a Drowsy because kids, we all know that Pikachu should not be able to take out Golem because Golem was a ground type and ground's not affected by electric.
But he beat Onyx in the...
Yeah, I was about to mention.
He beat Onyx because he sprayed him with a sprinkler system.
Still beat him.
I'm not giving Pikachu points for technicalities.
He's got the fucking badge, doesn't he?
It's true.
So design-wise, they gave that guy dreadlocks, and I thought that was kind of a cool change.
Yeah,
he kind of reminded me of a what is it in the newer games? It's like Team Skull or Team Aqua. Yeah, that's what it was. It kind of reminded me of that. Like they're trying to make him look more like. Yeah,
well, it was neat because in the original he had, I think it was the coughing symbol.
Yeah,
I thought it was a far allusion into Team Aqua, but in this one they changed it to a skull with swords, like a pirate symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
As far as like little changes they made, there was one that kind of threw me off too. Was I'm assuming in the original they say like seagulls or birds or whatever, but I think they make an explicit reference to a Wingull in this, and that Wingull is definitely like a later gen thing, right?
Yeah, that was kind of weird because in this first movie, if we're not counting the short film in front of the movie, which they didn't
remake, which is kind of
did not remake Pikachu's Vacation.
I would have loved that. That was fun.
But in the original movie, the only non-first gen Pokemon that shows up is Donphan, which was the first time we'd ever seen Donphan.
We all lost our shit when we saw him for the first time.
But yeah, in the credits of this movie, it shows which I like. I wish I could find textless versions of the artwork they use for the end because I think it's really cool. Yeah, but it shows them walking on a pier. There's just a bunch of fucking Wingull, and it's like Wingull's a 3rd gen Pokemon. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Oh, did they actually show him? I just there was the person that owned the dock like said the name. I didn't even notice him. Like
maybe I don't remember them saying it, but they in the credits there's an artwork of them walking the pier, just a bunch of Wingulls flying around.
Huh.
Yeah.
So one thing I brought up before talking about the show, I know in the original that they found Mew in South America, and that was one of the things. They found him in South America. That was kind of like a real world thing, and I'm not sure if I don't know how it was based in the Red and Blue era, but yeah, they said it was in South America, and this one they don't say that. It's kind of
now. Did they actually say South America in the movie?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another thing. So the first movie, it was in a time where 4Kids was still dubbing the Pokemon anime, and as we all know, 4Kids is notorious for over localizing anime. Need we cite the rap theme song to One Piece? But now we're in the age where Pokemon is dubbing in house. So I'm sure, just like the Vikings joke, the Minnesota Vikings joke they made in the original movie, I almost wonder if the South America reference was more of an American localization thing. I don't know if it's the same way in the original Japanese version.
Yeah,
I'd have to look that up. Another fun fact is that Jesse's mother died during the whole Mewtwo thing.
well, that's not fun.
She was
when did they say that?
That's a known fact thing too.
Like when was that? When was that said though?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But I know her mom died looking for Mew, so that had to have been during the first
movie. Right, yeah. Okay, so I've heard of that before.
Interesting.
All the deep lore Pokemon.
So one of the big visual changes that I'm sure a lot of people saw, because I think they showed this off months ago as promotion for this thing, this movie.
The teeth.
Not the teeth.
The creepy teeth. I didn't want to ever see their teeth. I don't want to see them again. They looked so weird. I'm sorry. I just have to bring it up. It's another one of those things. We mentioned this when we watched Dragon Quest, and how when they do like the lip syncing and stuff, they're lip syncing to the Japanese audio.
Right.
So of course in the original movie, because it's 2 dimensions, they weren't lip syncing then or anything. You can get away with it in English, but here it's weird looking. And then especially like when you know like how the human characters and Pokemon should look, just to like see their teeth out all the time. It's like, this is bizarre. It's so weird.
I want to get back to the human characters in a minute, but
okay.
What I was saying is one of the biggest visual changes they did to this was they gave Mewtwo a completely different armor set when he's a training armor, and I do not care for this new look. It is over designed as fuck.
Does it look that much different? I hadn't seen the original.
Really
there's just appendages, like there's just so much like extra detail to this new armor, and it is completely unnecessary.
The old armor really reminded me of Tom from Toonami. But this one, it has like spikes and shit. It almost has wings.
Yeah. And like it kind of makes sense for what they do it, because like all of those like extra shit on him ended up becoming like latches and like cuffs on him to like lock him down. So I guess in a way it makes sense, but like visually it just looks really stupid.
So I looked it up right here, and it says that it says she was the first person to get tangible evidence of Mew. And it says a recording she took in South American jungle.
Weird.
And then it says that she got lost in the Andes mountain. And it says she's presumed dead.
Oh no.
So it was very much based in reality in a sense.
So I take it Jessie probably wasn't aware of that, because I mean she recognizes that it's a Mew, or she figures out that it's a Mew from it saying its name, I guess, but I'm sure she would have had like a stronger reaction if she knew like her mom was doing.
That motherfucker killed my mom.
That's the weird thing, because since what, 1999, 96, there's been a lot of world building, so now that shit probably doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
probably like the
Yeah.
Sinnoh jungle.
Yeah, they would probably retcon it to be one of the actual regions.
So with all the different changes, I noticed I want to say Charizard always looks different no matter what. In drawings it looks different, in the models he looks different.
I don't know if like he did look a little strange in this movie. Did his
I
face look
love how-
longer?
Yes, I love how he looks in this. Compared to like the X and Y models they've been using, he looks like a dragon to me. The
Yeah,
other
yeah,
one, he's got
I
like
do
a pug
agree.
nose.
Yeah, I do agree. He kind of has like I don't know, a very sterile look is the only way I can explain it in the games. But like in this one, they kind of give him a little more personality.
Yeah.
At least in his design.
In this movie, they kind of hit like a middle ground between like the models that you've seen in the more recent games and like what we saw in Detective Pikachu, like as far as like the textures on like the Mons and stuff. Like this hits like a middle ground because you can still see like the textures on like some of the Pokemon and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
not nearly like it fits in the style, but like still it's like they hit like
Yeah,
right the
it kind of reminds me of Pokken Tournament, where they had all of their like they were on model with their like actual game designs. They just gave them like, you know, realistic textures. And this movie is kind of like a half step down from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in terms of like, you know, interpreting the Pokemon designs into 3D, I think they did really well with that.
I
Like
thought the
Pikachu's
only
fuzzy. You can see, you know, the weird skin-like texture on Mewtwo. Charizard's got a bit of scale to him.
I did not care for how Pikachu looked.
Yeah.
Pikachu kind of looks a little weird to me. I don't know how to explain it.
I could see
Maybe
why.
the eyes
Yeah,
or something.
it was a little bit off. Yeah, I don't know though. Maybe I don't know. I was wondering why he wasn't making like Reynolds noises.
Now, okay, so getting back to something I want to talk about earlier. I don't know if you guys had the same feelings about this, but I did not like how the human characters came out in this movie. I felt like, because we talked about Dragon Quest last week, and I felt like a lot of the the characters are really expressive, a lot of like ranged emotions. I did not get that from, especially from the main trio. I did not get the same level of like expression out of them. I felt like it was just kind of bland, honestly.
I would say the most expressive one would be Brock.
Yeah,
Out of
no,
everybody.
actually, I would say in general, like even down to the whoever they have voicing them nowadays, because I know obviously this is a whole new voice cast compared to the original. That was 4 kids, but I actually,
yeah, and I have feelings on the dub voices, but go on.
Well, okay. Well, at least specifically for Brock, I felt like a pretty good performance. Like as far as expressiveness and stuff goes, yeah. In comparison to Dragon Quest, like yeah, it doesn't touch that, of course. But I would still say that they're more expressive in this than they were in the original. Because I mean, in the original Pokemon style, I don't remember them being very expressive either.
I feel like just the kind of the 2D animation that they had with the original kind of helped mitigate that a little bit.
Sure.
But now it's in 3D, and you obviously have these models. I don't know, just like Ash didn't seem very expressive to me. Misty especially did not look as very expressive. I do think Brock got a little more had a little more action going on, but it was mostly through body language, not so much like facial expressions. I feel like the most like facially expressive character was the pirate guy they were fighting at the beginning.
Yeah.
He went through like the 5 stages of grief like all at
Right.
once.
And then obviously there's Mewtwo. He just kind of has a static face, but he's always had that.
I thought it was great because the stupid other trainers that they did looked exactly like their counterparts, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But getting back to this, so obviously they're using for the dub of this, they're using pretty much all the same actors that are currently on the show right now. I'm not bothered by Ash's current voice, mostly because I watched a good majority of the X and Y anime, so I got used to his newer voice. I do not like. I don't like whoever's doing Misty and Brock these days. Brock is a little less egregious. It kind of sounds like the voice actors trying really hard to emulate the older voice. But the Misty one just like sounds completely different. And I don't like it.
That's the problem, is it comes off as more of a bad impression than actually like trying to do a voice.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way specifically about James, actually. James's voice was a little bit off to me because it felt like whoever was doing that was trying to do like an impression. Well, I mean, obviously they were trying to emulate the original voice actor,
which is funny because Brock and James are voiced by the same person. So I wonder if they got the same person voicing them again.
Yeah, and then the other thing, because like I said, I haven't watched any of the Pokemon stuff like in a very long, like Detective Pikachu being the only thing recently, but I haven't watched like any of the stuff related to anime or anything in a very long time. So probably since 4Kids was doing the dubbing, so this is my first time listening to this new cast, and of course with Meowth being my favorite Pokemon, I did notice a bit of the difference in the voice there. I thought it was fine what they had there, but you can't replace Maddie Blaustein. Rest in peace.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean for the most part, I was completely fine with the voice cast. Like I felt like their emulations were decent enough.
Yeah. So obviously I don't watch the English dub very often. Like X and Y was really the last time I watched it. Because I was watching, I did watch a good majority of the Sun and Moon anime, but I watched it in Japanese. So when I was watching this movie, I thought it was, I noticed a couple of voices and like, oh, that's cool. They got them back for that. Specifically, the narrator and Giovanni's voice. I thought that was interesting because it's like, oh, that's cool. They brought them back. Little did I know they never really left. So there was a little bit of time, sometime in the Ruby and Sapphire era, when they transferred from 4Kids to having Pokemon Company do it themselves. Where they left for like maybe 40 episodes or something, but then they came back and have been doing those roles ever since. So they never really left, which is weird that, this guy has been narrating the Pokemon anime for like over 20 years. Steady paycheck, I guess.
There was another instance, like at least related to kind of like, because you mentioned Giovanni too, right? That was the
yeah, Giovanni's had the same voice actor since the beginning of the show.
So I guess the Mewtwo in this one wasn't the Mewtwo from the original, but it is the person who has been doing Mewtwo since the sequel to the original movie, Returns.
Yeah, they got Dan Green to come back as Mewtwo, and he started doing Mewtwo in the Mewtwo Returns,
which is still in the 4Kids era, right? From what I remember.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was sometime in the Gold and Silver era, I think.
Actually, speaking of Mewtwo Returns, that was something that I think they did add to this movie, was like that post-credits scene where they show like the island where they end up at for Mewtwo Returns. I guess maybe they might eventually do a recreation of that too.
Who shows up at the island?
No, like Mewtwo and like the clone Pokemon and stuff.
The Electron Island?
Well, did you ever watch Mewtwo Returns?
Long time ago.
Okay. Well, yeah, they go to like an uninhabited island and like they make a home there or something. And so I guess in the original movie, the scene was just them sort of like just flying or something. Like I said, I haven't watched it in a while. This is just from me reading. But yeah, there's like a little post-credit scene that's I guess supposed to be an allusion to an eventual remake of Mewtwo Returns as well. But of course, they haven't confirmed anything. But
weird. I guess they're waiting. I guess they'll wait to see how this does.
Yeah, because this is like Netflix's first Pokemon related thing, right?
I mean, you can watch Pokemon, or you can watch some Pokemon on Netflix. I think a lot of it got moved
but
to him.
I mean specifically as like a production. Like, this is billed as like a Netflix presents, like
yes, I think
kind of like the same way that Nick like has partnered with Netflix recently. I guess the Pokemon company is now partnered with Netflix because they're going to be releasing some of the future stuff on there too as well. I think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, this is the first Pokemon Netflix partnership thing, which I find really kind of funny when Netflix like bills these as it's a Netflix original film. I'm like, yeah, in America, I guess. It's been out in theaters in Japan for like a year.
Nah, but I mean, if you're footing the bill to get it published,
right.
I guess you reserve the right to.
I do appreciate that Netflix is like bringing these 3D anime films over, which makes me hopeful that they're going to bring over the Lupin the Third movie.
It's just not to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, if they're going to continue this trend, I mean, Pokemon's a good widely known name, but they brought over Dragon Quest too, so it's like, well, maybe.
Yeah, Dragon Quest would have been the harder sell just because I mean Lupin has more of like a for sure presence, at least over here. I mean, just from like the shows that they showed like on Adult Swim and stuff. Of course, they've done like Dragon Quest games and stuff over here too, but I don't know.
Right.
I mean, for Pokemon is like a sure thing. Like everyone knows what the fuck Pokemon is.
Right. But yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk too much about like the specifics about this movie because it's like if you've seen the first Pokemon movie, you're gonna watch this. I mean, I almost feel like it's more of a literal dub than it is, the more localized dub that the first movie did. One of the dub differences I noticed, I don't know why this one sticks out to me, because in the original movie, when Meowth and his clone meet up and they're like about to start fighting, but then they're like, like Meowth and his clone like have like this kind of poignant conversation about like,
I was missing that.
Yeah, because he was like, well, we're under the same sky and all that, and just like, well, we're not really all that different and stuff. But in this version, the clone Meowth is like, is it gonna be a full moon today? And regular Meowth's like, yeah, I think so. That's literally the entire conversation.
So they go from waxing philosophical to discussing the weather, basically.
Pretty much.
That's pretty funny. That was another thing too. I meant to mention earlier when when Mewtwo like blows up the lab and kills the scientist. I remember like the main scientist like having a bit more of a dramatic death than.
Oh, dude, so obviously they weren't going to do the exact same dub on this, but like I felt like his line like right before the thing blows up, because he was like in the original dub he's something along the lines of like,
and they succeeded and then like he dies
and then it explodes, and I'm like, damn, that's a good line to go out on. But in this version it was like I thought he was starting in on the line because he was like, we created the first Pokemon, most powerful Pokemon. It was our dream, and then it explodes.
Yeah, that was like a little bizarre.
It's not as good of a line, but I don't know. I think if I was to choose between these two movies, I think I would still watch the original dub. I just feel like it has a lot more personality into it, animation wise, and the cheesy doofy dub
and the cheesy doofy soundtrack too. I'm telling you, man, I can't.
That soundtrack is amazing. Don't at me.
They took out "Brother, My Brother." I can't believe they did that.
I know, man.
They've just stuck some orchestral stuff over that. I'm like, nope, it doesn't work for me.
That remix of a remix of the Pokemon theme song is the only song we get. We get some like slow jam song at the end, but
yeah, it's not nearly the same.
Like you do. Yeah.
I'm looking up Mewtwo's Pokemon and everything's named something too.
Oh,
okay. Just like, isn't it just like Charizard 2 and Venusaur 2?
That was
Pikachu 2.
It's just 2.
That was something weird when I was watching. Did you guys happen to watch the subtitles at all?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I'm not sure because sometimes when they do the subtitles for Netflix stuff, it's like subtitles for the original audio. So like,
Okay, yeah, okay, now I do remember. Because for some reason I turned on subtitles for Netflix once. I think it was because I was trying to watch The Witcher, and a lot of it's really quiet.
sure.
And then I have to I turn it off when I'm trying to watch Netflix, and then it keeps turning it back on every time I watch something new. So yeah, I did originally have the subtitles on for this for like the first 2 minutes, and then yeah, I noticed that the subtitles are not for the American dub; it's for the Japanese dub.
Well, no. So okay, that wasn't even the point I was trying to make because that's just like a normal thing that I've seen happen with like a ton of stuff on Netflix. But specifically, the thing that caught me off guard was, of course, the Pokemon. Like when they say their own name, it says like the name and the subtitle. But because Kyle just brought up the Pokemon all being like Blastoise 2 and Pikachu 2 and stuff, in the subtitles, when you see the clone Blastoise for the first time, it's Blastoise says his name, and in the subtitles it says Blastoise clone. Like the Blastoise said the word clone, and I thought when I saw that, I was like, "There's no fucking way they're gonna be saying the word clone along with their name throughout the rest of this movie." Is there? I was like, I didn't remember it being that way in the original, and like I think it was just a mistrans or a miss subtitle or something because they didn't. But still, that was like an instance of like, what the fuck are they doing?
I feel like when it comes to anime, Netflix is the best about their subtitles because I had them on for a little bit when I was watching Dragon Quest, and it is also kind of like slightly off.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think pretty much the subtitles are crafted with the original audio track in mind. Because I mean, any
Right.
of the stuff that's like originally released in English with their English subtitles, the stuff I watched on Netflix anyway, it seems to be, good. It seems to be a pretty literal, transcription.
Right.
But just in that specific instance, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, this movie's fine, I guess. It seems very unnecessary. Sorry, my dog is getting all kinds of grumpy at me.
He didn't like it. He didn't like the remake. He prefers the original. He's a Gen 1er like me.
He wasn't even alive then. This movie's fine. It is a remake of the first Pokemon movie. It is wholly unnecessary, but it is a thing that exists in our world. It's a clone of the first movie.
There you go.
Bringing it back
Been looking
around.
for something. What is this?
I don't know, Kyle. What is it?
I guess he shows up in the Jirachi movie.
Who does? Mewtwo?
Mewtwo?
Huh.
Oh
Something.
yeah, he's like in a pan shot. He's like standing on top of a building.
Um,
And then he comes back in the Genesect movie, but that may be a different Mewtwo. Who knows? Maybe
A Mewtwo clone? Mew
I don't
3?
know,
The fabled
man.
Mew 3?
I don't know, but he comes back in the Genesect movie just so they can show off his Mega form. He becomes that weird little baby thing with the ring on his head.
Well, they have two different.
No,
they have an X and Y version of that, don't they?
Right,
whatever
but they
that's
didn't
called.
show off the fighter Mewtwo in the movie. They just showed off the little baby one.
I remember when I went to Europe once, I got a DVD and it was a different language, but it had Mewtwo and it was wearing a cloak and a fedora. And I thought that was cool as shit, but I never knew what it was from. So I guess it's from this movie.
So he's basically a Ninja Turtle, like
kind of.
Yeah, like he's in disguise. It's very fucking weird.
That's hilarious.
And
I want that. I
I've
want
been
that
looking-
passage of the game. I want to be able to give my Mewtwo a trench coat and a fedora.
should be wearing a fucking like Groucho nose and mustache and glasses too.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of Knuckles from the OVA wearing the cowboy hat.
That should be made canon. He should be wearing the hat in
Give
the
Knuckles
game.
his cowboy hat back. If Knuckles is in the sequel to the Sonic movie, he better damn well have a cowboy hat. Do it.
Yeah, so Yeah, I feel like if I was gonna rewatch either of these, I would just rewatch the original, just because that's the one that I have, more nostalgia for. Because
Exactly.
I think we all had the same experience, right? We all went to the theater to go see this, and we got like our ancient Mew card, and like
Hell yeah.
we got like all the fucking like gold plated
Was
Pokeball things from Burger King, and like
Oh god, I forgot about those.
I don't think it was the ancient Mew card. I think it was 4. Was Electabuzz, Dragonite, Pikachu, and Meowth, I think.
I
Wait, did the Ancient Mew card come out with Pokemon 2000?
why would
I
it?
think
Mew's
it
not in
did.
that movie. Is Mew's not
No,
in that
but
movie, right?
in Pokemon 2000, the guy has an Ancient Mew card.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe I got it backwards.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
we
was
did
Mew-
have an Ancient Mew card at one point in time.
It was Mewtwo, Dragonite, Electabuzz, and Pikachu. I
Huh.
think that's what they gave out.
Okay. Well, either way, there was some sort of card that came with the
Well,
ticket.
yeah, that was half the reason we went to saw the movie.
Actually,
Yeah, that was
okay,
the best
wait.
part.
I just unearthed a memory from my original, because I'm never gonna get a chance to talk about it, and we're not gonna talk about the original again. When I did go to see the original movie when it came out in theaters, the projector broke down for a bit, and my whole theater just like hundreds of children just chanting Pokemon, Pokemon for like 10 minutes until they fixed the
That's
projector and it
hilarious.
finally played. Yeah, like that was like one of my fondest like Pokemon related memories. Like,
To be a parent back then.
oh my god, it must have been awful.
If you guys want to talk about putting your parents through just awful shit for your dumb childhood whims, do you guys remember that Pokemon CD they put out with like all the songs from the show? I think it was like,
You mean To Be a Master?
yeah.
No, I fucking love that. No, you don't remember on the fucking Detective Pikachu episode, I made you put what kind of Pokemon are you over the end credits?
Oh, that's right.
Because I love
but
that
anyway,
CD. I love that CD. That CD is so fucking goofy. It's great.
But so if you guys want to talk about forcing your parents to do stuff for you, I had a CD of that I had that CD, but I didn't have a portable CD player.
Oh.
So I had my dad, who's, a tech savvy person, basically record the entire CD onto a cassette tape.
Holy shit.
But that meant he had to listen to the entire CD. So I just remember one night I was like in bed going to sleep and I just hear this fucking CD playing out in the living room as my dad is recording it to a tape for me.
Just shaking his head, taking a long drag off a cigarette with a fucking glass of whiskey in his hand.
No, my dad like took a weird like vested interest anytime I was interested in something, so much that for pretty much a month straight, he was going around the house making the muck noise that he makes when Muck screams his name. That my dad did that for like a month straight, and I'm like, please stop.
That's fun.
My dad is a weird man. I pray he never listens to this. He tried though, and that's all we can ask for. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about this clone movie?
Nah.
Yeah, no, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Dang.
Give it a watch if you'd like to see what the first movie is like in CG. But if you have a lot of nostalgia for the first movie, just go watch the first movie. It's literally it's the movie, and this doesn't have the amazing soundtrack and dub that the original.
Yeah,
does.
if you're listening to this and you have not seen the actual first Pokemon movie because you weren't probably not born then, go find it because it is infinitely better than this movie, if only because it is more cheesy than this movie.
I'm telling you, man, my brother adds so much emotional weight to that scene.
The first Pokemon movie is not a good movie by any stretch, but it is a great movie.
I was saying off the screen, like I was saying before we recorded, like at least it's not 3 movies stitched together like the Digimon movie. It didn't have an Angela Anaconda short in front of it.
Hell yeah.
That you know what?
Biggest plus right there.
for for as egregious as it is trying to stitch 3 movies together and try to form some kind of a plot, that Angela Anaconda short in front of the movie, and the fact that you can't get the Digimon movie without that short is its biggest offense. But I digress. So thank you everybody for listening to this review. Let us know what you thought about the remake movie, and if you think Pokemon should dare try to remake their other movies in 3D. Don't ruin Pokemon 2000 for me, guys. I like that movie. It's my favorite Pokemon movie. But yeah. So thank you all for listening, and we will be next week with another talking show thing.
Podcast. I believe is what's called.
That's what the kids are calling them these days. A podcast. We'll be back next week with another podcast. So, yeah, we'll see you then.
See you then.
Oh shit, we forgot to do the T-Rocket thing.
I'm so glad you forgot about it.
It's fine.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. Join our Discord to chat with us, and subscribe to our Patreon for some cool bonuses. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.